Hey guys, it's Shawn Ziem, the host of the Webtalk Legends Podcast. So this is number 80. We started last year. Again, 80 episodes of guests sharing their story, sharing their their trials and tribulations, things that they've been doing in their business, in their life, a lot of things that you can learn from. And if you are actually listening to this, you're one that takes action. We would love to hear about that. And if you use some of the things that we talk about, drop a comment when things are working for you. Couple housekeeping things. Those that are watching live, the least you can do is drop a comment, hashtag live. On the replay, hashtag replay. But also drop a comment where you're watching this from. I know this is global. We have people all over the world going to tune in. And it's important that if you have questions, drop them as well. We want to engage. We want to interact. I'll put your comments on the screen. We'll have some fun. If it's live, if it's on the replay, we'll definitely get back to you at the earliest convenience. Let me bring on a good friend of mine I'm glad to have with us. What's up, Chris? What's up, man? How are you?
Shawn, how you doing, man? I'm doing great, dude. It's great to be back here with you. It's been a little while, but this is exciting stuff, man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I appreciate you taking some time out. A lot of people I offer, to be a guest, and a lot of people turn me down, or they say they're not ready, or I don't have the time. Dude, we're having 30 minutes, just having some massive value that we're going to share with people. Everyone can find some 30 minutes out of their day, but people are afraid of camera, I think, or doing video. That's the biggest issue right now. But getting over the fear, you got to put yourself out there, do things that you're uncomfortable, and become comfortable being uncomfortable. That'll help you in the long run. That's a key thing.
100%, man. I agree. And what the reality is, we make time for our priorities. You know what I mean? If there's somebody tells you they don't have time, then this type of, I don't know what you want to call it, value or marketing or whatever it is not a priority. And that's okay. You know what I mean? There's, everyone's trying their best out there, but that's, the video fear is easy obstacle to overcome. And, do 2 or 3 or 4 of them, and that's it. You're done. You're ready to go.
A lot of people think too much into it. And before we even get into our conversation, I love asking this. Who are you, Chris, and what do you do?
All right, man. So I am a realtor. That's my current career right now. I'm a realtor. We have a team. We're predominantly in Bergen County. We work in Bergen, Passaic, Essex. Really, we're doing Monmouth and Ocean now as well. That market's on fire. But other than that, I'm a father of 3 daughters. I'm a husband. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a chef by trade. I've owned restaurants. I do have another few projects I'm working on. I'll be announcing soon on some social media, which, maybe we can make an announcement together or talk about. But and I'm also proud to say I've been putting this out there, and I hope it helps people. I'm 17 years sober, which is kind of I'm putting that energy out there because I know more and more people may need that message, and I'm happy to share that as well.
I love hearing that, and this is something that, and I applaud you, I congratulate you for 17 years, man. Maybe you can share. Was it a dark time? What was like the start of you saying, you know what, I'm done having drinks?
So I have a great support system around me, and the light was kind of shown to me that these are some changes you need to make here because things are going in the wrong direction. I was a chef then. I owned restaurants, and it was that's a common theme that runs through that industry. Is you're in those kitchens and those restaurants, the opposite hours of the rest of the world, and it's you do what these things run rampant. The behavior there is that's a common thing to deal with, and I'm not going to blame it on that because I could trace it back to other things, but it's really a mental awareness. And it's really a coping mechanism that you have to learn to get rid of and cope with things a different way. It was dark. It was ugly for a while, but my wife now, she really was the one who showed me that this is the time. The time is now or never. And she was right. And that was 17 years ago. So I put everything down, and it's been a long time.
No, it's beautiful, and I appreciate you being transparent. A lot of guys are afraid to share things, and it's important, especially guys. We have things going. We're going through things. We have to share and be tight and educate other fellow dudes out there that we can help them. Like being a girl dad. I was a girl dad for a long time. I have 3 daughters, and then I have my son. So it all changes everything. How has that changed you?
So it's funny because I grew up, my parents were divorced growing up. I grew up with my mother and 2 sisters in my house, right? I saw my dad. He was a part of my life, right? But not a daily thing. I didn't live with him. So I got used to living with women really for my whole memory. So that was something that is not a unique thing to me, but when they become when you have daughters, it changes everything, right? And my oldest is started high school this year, and you have a different perspective on things when you have a daughter. And like you said a few minutes ago, men go through stuff too. You know what I mean? And I think it's important to live and make an example that's okay, and be the man that your daughter, be an example of a man you'd be happy if your daughter married.
Yep.
And that's a struggle sometimes too, but we all try to do our best. And, it's important for men to have a support group as much as women. And when you got three, I was going to say 3 wives and a daughter, but 3 daughters and a wife, you look for that support, and it's great. Yeah.
Yeah. You need to have some testosterone to throw around some things and ideas. And it's important that we're there for each other. And it's, you have those days. You probably change diapers. You
I'll do it all
in the middle of the night. Yeah. You're being an active dad. You're present. And a lot of there's deadbeat dads out there, which are, I'm not sure how you would want to be that way. I would. You bring someone into this world, you should own up to it and be the person that they need to be. They need you. They don't want to have a missing link in their life.
It was another reason I knew it was time to leave the restaurant business when I started having children. And it's funny now because they're older, right? My oldest is 14 and my youngest is 9, but my youngest doesn't remember me at the restaurants at all. My oldest remembers me. She wouldn't see me, or when she saw me, or I would pick her up, I'd bring her to the restaurant, she'd sit in the kitchen. She has those memories. And she used to think all I did was sleep because I'd come home after she went to sleep. But when she woke up in the morning, I was sleeping. And she's like, I don't ever see Dad. The only time I see him is when he's sleeping. Meanwhile, you work 20 hours a day, right?
Right.
But yeah, I mean, look, it's funny how things change and work out. And I feel like, you always get your answer if you look for it.
I like that.
Yeah.
And kids drive you. I think you don't grow up until you have a kid, because when you have to really take care of someone and you have to keep them alive, that changes you. Because when you have a kid in the hospital, that first night in the hospital, it's easy. Nurses are there. Here, take the baby, blah, blah, blah. Now, the next day when you go home and it's just you and your wife, it's a whole different ballgame.
Shocking.
Like, oh my God. It's like, it's scary for a lot of people, but we all get through it.
It was scary, but at the same time, for me, I almost can remember almost like a physiological change of how you feel about this baby and this human that you brought here, and you and your wife or whoever,
right.
you had this baby with. You're overcome with fear, but it's joy, but it's happiness, it's everything, and it's great, man. It really is great. But like you said, it forces certain emotions, and it forces you to grow up and look at things differently.
It drives you. You have more of a why. A lot of people like to work. They like to make a lot of money. I don't like. I say this all the time. I work so I could have a life. I don't live to work. I don't want to put in 20 hours a day. I want to work when I work, and when I'm with my family, I'm with my family. And this is a problem with a lot of people too.
Yeah,
they don't know how to take this thing and put this away. It's always going off. And I had problems early on. I'm very good now, and much better now. But it's a work in progress, right?
I got that problem, man. I have an addictive personality. That phone is a disaster for me. I have to put it away out of my sight, out of my mind, at home for certain times for meals and when I'm hanging out. Otherwise, I can get distracted easily by it, and it is a problem. And look, I go with that. I go through with it with my children now too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's wild because they have access to everything, which is, and people, you say these things. I was just talking about this 2 nights ago. It's not like when I had to call and talk to the girl's dad and ask to talk to your daughter. It's Chris, how you doing? That phone call doesn't happen anymore. You get the cell phone number and you have direct access. That used to be intimidating as a kid when I was younger.
Oh yeah.
Hoping the dad doesn't answer or whatever it is. But like that that access can be dangerous. You have to have responsibility with it.
Yeah, the cell phones today it's a mini computer. It has it's a video, photography all in one.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. We're talking, my wife and I, and kids today don't even realize about the library. You used to go to the library, you use a card catalog, find information, go to an encyclopedia. They're like, what the hell is that? And find it, and then have to go do photocopies of it. Now it's all on the phone, all in Google. Anything. If you have a question, you just Google it or YouTube it. Like, it's just there. It's wild.
I had a kid, 18 years old or 19 years old. He couldn't write a letter. He couldn't write an envelope. He didn't know how to write the envelope, man. I was dying laughing. I'm like, oh shit, man, this is crazy. Like, and to me, it's normal stuff, but you don't need to know certain things anymore. It's crazy.
Yeah, the ability to the life skills are not really taught too often anymore in the schools. And if the parent is not up into educating and being an actual parent and teaching those skills, those kids don't have it.
Right.
It's something that we have to, as parents, bring that old school stuff in, teach them how to write, use a pen. They know how to do this all day long. It's a whole different ball game. And then if they do this all day long, they're not even communicating properly. They're using slang. They don't know how to write. So it's a whole different animal that we deal with today. And then with COVID, these kids are behind the eight ball for 2 years now. They don't know what's going on. So it screwed a lot of things up.
Look, everyone, hindsight's 20/20, but the way that went, and I could tell you, I got my youngest, she was out of school for, I think first and second grade, whatever it was. We're playing catch up. And the middle one, all of them really in certain aspects, but my younger two were homeschooled during very critical times in their development. And this definitely is showing up right now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's scary. So I'm hoping that those that are out there, if you need time, work with your kids, because it's something that they are struggling, I'm sure, in school and everything else. I want to circle and being a serial entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Now, for those that are out there, what does that mean to you, being an entrepreneur?
For me, it means I'm unable to work for anybody. So I grew up with jobs like every other kid, right? And I realized early in my life that I was not meant to be kind of in a 9-to-5 job, doing the same things over and over and not really trying to make the decisions. While I do take direction well now, I didn't always. I have ideas and I feel like I need to execute them. Some work, some don't, and I'm okay with that. Matter of fact, I probably have more bad ideas than good ideas, but the good ones I can capitalize on and outweigh them. And I think to have that comfort level, knowing that you have that risk and you are going to fail, and you have to be, and it's going to be okay if you do, and it's really just the way forward. That's being an entrepreneur to me, is knowing that you'll figure it out, having faith in yourself to take it to the next level.
And trying it. And like you said, having ideas, right, and being willing to just executing and seeing what happens. A lot of people talk the game. They go to a workshop. They go and listen to a webinar. And they're all fired up, but they never pull the trigger. They never really put action to whatever they're learning, which they're losing if they're not actually implementing what you're learning. And I
had a guy tell me once at one of these workshops, right? And he said, look, you got to remember, I had the smartest drawers in my desk ever. I would take notes and I would leave these notebooks in these drawers. These drawers knew everything and I wasn't executing. He said, you got to execute. You got to have the guts to execute. It'll pay off if you see it through. And if it doesn't, you've learned something for the next venture. That's how you got to look at it. And I suffer from that sometimes too. I make notes. I go to classes. You got to actually build on that.
Right.
And execute.
Right.
Yeah.
Because people are always complaining, I'm not making enough money, or I don't have enough time. Well, there's things that you probably have learned, just haven't implemented. Like a lot of people, big thing right now is virtual assistants and building a team. A lot of people are afraid to do that because sometimes it costs them money. Yeah. People don't treat the business that they're in as a business. They treat it as a hobby.
Yes, they won't invest in it. They won't spend the money on it. I was having this conversation recently, and if you're an entrepreneur, whatever you're doing is your business. It's you own it, and you need to invest in it. You need to invest in education. You need to invest in whatever infrastructure, marketing. That's how you grow. These are valuable things if you spend the money properly to you, and they will help you. It's not a liability. These are assets. Right. Having a coach, having somebody, a mentor or a networking group or a business group. I'm in 2 or 3 paid groups. They help me immensely. One of them is the men's accountability group, only men. And we hold each other accountable, and we are vulnerable if we need to be. And it's awesome. Yeah.
Vulnerability is key. I think a lot of people don't realize, someone puts themselves out there. That's strength. You're putting information out into the world. You're actually helping others make that, leap in the direction that whatever that conversation goes, or whatever the issue that you might have. But it's important to put that out there and challenge, yourself and challenge others. So it's important to have that community to lean on.
100%.
We go through a lot of things, and people don't want to. Mental health is really not something that people talk about, especially guys. And it's important that we share, educate others.
That's a huge thing. And it has a lot to do with, like we were talking about the sobriety before and mental health. And, I grew up in a place where, as I was a child, you didn't talk about it. You didn't know about it. It was hidden. But as I grew up, I realized there was adults in my family that had mental illnesses, and I actually experienced it from being around them. And it's ugly, especially if you don't get the help, or you're not willing to talk about it or strong enough to talk about it. So these are really important things that people need to understand. Is okay. It's not a flaw. It's right. Something, it's something that you could talk about.
Now, for those that are watching, for those entrepreneurs that are out there, how can we help them? Maybe on time management or marketing ideas, social media, video. What are some things that in your mind that we can throw out there for value for them?
So I can talk all day about time management, but I'm a terrible executor of it. I have a beautifully organized schedule, and I try to stick to it. Most days it gets away from me, and it's one of my biggest issues. So what I can say about that is, if you need to build out your schedule, build it out. But the hardest part is executing it, is actually sticking to it. Get somebody to help you stay accountable. Share it with somebody so they can see and ask them, and so you can actually talk back and forth and say, did you get this done? Did you get that done? That's probably my biggest weakness, where if I fix that, I could probably be way more efficient. Well, I'm getting better every day, but it's a struggle for me. Social media, video, marketing, all in one. I think here's the key with all that stuff, right? And it's consistency. That's what it is. You have to be on Facebook. This is your brand. If you're no matter what you're doing, you're building a personal brand. Whether you're trying to be funny on Facebook, whether you're trying to shed light on some things. I've been posting about sobriety lately. I do less real estate posts because I see most realtors just listed, just sold.
Yeah.
And I think it's kind of noise. You know what I mean? Like, I'll post it. Don't get me wrong. And look, there's less to post this year because of the way the market is, and that's okay. But you have to be consistent, be present, so people see you on social media and say, "Oh, there's Shawn. There's the connection machine," and you're top of mind when something that they need comes up. So be consistent. If you're going to post daily, post daily. If you're going to post every other day, do that. You can set it up. You can schedule it, and make the damn videos. Get on video. That's the biggest connection. Send a video text to a client, to a person. Do the reels. If you need them, if you want them to look professional, have them edited. If not, it's okay. You can just be real. You can edit it yourself lightly in the app. So my point with this is, if you're an entrepreneur or you want to build a personal brand or whatever, consistency is going to be the key.
I like that, and I agree.
Yeah.
Consistency with whatever you're doing. If you have a CRM you use, a lot of people, what should I use? Whatever works for you.
Yeah.
It could be an Excel spreadsheet. It could be something you spend thousands of dollars a month on that you plug in that some people don't even use properly. But the video, I'm with you. It's something I started back in 2018, and I was like, what am I going to talk about? And everyone has stuff to talk about. You talk about sobriety. You could talk about things you read. If people are reading things, nobody likes to read anymore. So I was reading lots of books, and you read and give information that you're learning.
I believe you got to read.
Yeah.
I read every day, even if it's for 2 minutes or 5 minutes. And you know what I've learned to do, because I'm not a great comprehensive reader. Here's another thing. And this was from one of the coaches in my life. I read every day. And I try to set a timer for 10 minutes. Otherwise, I start drifting away. But what I do is immediately when I'm done, I write a report on the 10 minutes I read. So I have the book summarized when I'm done with it. I will not remember it all. This way, I'm writing it, I'm remembering it, and I'm doing it in little chunks. It may take me, my 14-year-old daughter laughs at me because it takes me so long to read a book. But that's how I learn. So what? So I read and I write the summary right immediately after. I try to do it early in the morning, and I'm done for the day, and I've learned something. I start with that little bit of a win, but I write the summary after. That's a tip that I can give anybody who's trying to read. And most people, like you said, I'll listen to that one on audio book. It's not to me, it's not the same. I don't believe it's the same for anybody, but it's
right.
Not the same. You should read.
I like picking up a book. I have them all over there, but picking up a book, rereading books, or just going through those classics, because you'll reflect on what you read. And as you're getting older, you're being more mature. You have more experiences. You can apply things that you're learning. But that's content. Yes. You talked about video. If you're on Facebook and people are, I'm not into Facebook. I like doing Instagram or TikTok. Facebook, everybody has. Everybody has it. Not only young people have TikTok. Instagram is more the images and things like that. But Facebook is crack. Everybody's checking it. And you, like you said, you don't have to do real estate. I don't have to do insurance videos. You're educating on other things. People are always like, what exactly do you do? And that's a good thing. That's why I created my own brand, because I help people solve their problems. It could be insurance. It could be a connection to another professional. Maybe someone wants to do learning and earning online, a multi-level marketing. I have platforms I'm involved with. Fitness. It's all things to help others. But you have to also listen to find out what the pain points are, what they're in need of. But people don't want to do that.
Listening's hard for a lot of people, and listening to listen, not just to respond, like to really understand what somebody's saying and take it in and have a solution or discuss, have a conversation that comes to a solution is it's getting more rare. It seems like to me, people want instant gratification a lot. And I think we're learning that that's not the way to go as time and as society changes. I see things that are, and I listen to people that kind of reflect on some of the ways we've endorsed instant gratification and just worry about this or that and don't worry about others, and it's backfiring in a lot of ways. So I think listening and talking to people is becoming cool again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's something that everyone has to work on. I've doing these podcasts all over the number of years. That's what I get the most of. People are watching them, but I'm learning from my guests, building relationships and doing business with people for years now. It's not something that I just take lightly. I know 30 minutes could be a lot for people, and we can just give value. That's what we're focused on. People are afraid of doing that. I want to end and kind of finish on real estate, circle back to real estate. How can we help those that are getting involved in real estate today? I know the market's changed. Some people get their real estate license. Oh, I'm going to make $100,000 the first year. That's what they think when they go into real estate school. And then the reality hits them. Holy shit, how do I find leads, or how do I generate business? How can we help them?
So you're talking about people who want to be in the industry?
Yeah, just getting started.
So let me start by saying this, right? Number one, 60,000 agents or 70,000 agents have already left the industry, I think, this year. I think maybe more than that. That's a little bit of an older stat. But now, if you're getting involved in real estate, right, not even talking about market conditions, number one, you need to be prepared to work for free for a while. You got to have some money in the bank. You got to understand that, selling Sunset or Ryan Serhant, these are not
reality.
Yeah, it's not reality. This is not common things. There are successful agents. I consider myself to be pretty successful at it, but these are people selling 5, 6, 7, 10, $50 million homes. That's not the normal around here.
Right.
And that's the top 0.01%. So don't get caught up with that romantic vision of what this is. A realtor's job is to generate leads, is to prospect for business. That is what you must do all day. It's not even about going out to the properties. Yes, that shows up after you've done number one. So realize it's not what you think it is. It's not what I thought it was in the beginning. Once you get in the industry and realize, okay, now what? I don't have every day you wake up with no business for a certain amount of time. What do I do? You have to start critically thinking about, how am I going to approach finding business? Are you going to cold call? Are you going to use social media like you should? Are you going to go out and network in person with people? All these things are critical, and you have to do them all. And then you have to build your referrals, your referrals and your past clients, and you got to work that, which they call your sphere of influence, and work that to get repeat business and referred business and recommended business, because then that's when it starts kind of having a life of its own. So if you're thinking about becoming a realtor, number one, realize this is hard work. All right. It's not easy work. Number two, call me, and I'm happy to grab a coffee with you and explain to you what really goes into it. You can come to my office here in Wyckoff, and we could show you what we do during the day and show you, we bang out 200-300 phone calls, and you see how much fun it is. Make sure you're built for this, because it's not for everybody. It's not fun. 30 minutes ago, somebody on the phone said, "You must be a sicko. Why are you calling me to ask if I'm going to sell my house?" I said, "Well, this is what hardworking agents do, So you get beat up on the phones or stuff, but this, you have to see it through. And again, it's that entrepreneur life. This is 100% commission life. It's all or nothing. You close or you don't earn money. So that's how this goes. So realize you have to be dedicated to the process, and you have to be dedicated, and business will show up, if you work and you hunt and shake hands.
A lot of hunting and shaking hands, and a lot of rejection, like you said. You have to understand that goes back to mindset and how to deal with rejection and people saying no constantly with you. So it's a powerful, training that you have to go through.
It's a specific mindset where you're okay being told no all day long, and it's okay. You just need one yes.
Right.
If you can get one yes a day, you're in good shape.
A lot of people are looking for that one deal. And like you were saying, building relationships and referral sources, finding those apple orchards. Don't just go for the apple. Don't go for a tree. Go for the orchard. And what the heck what are those things? You have a lot of financial advisors.
Yes.
People don't talk to. Hello, they have people that have money. You have investors. You also have, accountants. They
Lawyers,
are gold,
divorce lawyers, estate probate. Like if you go down the list, everybody knows somebody that needs a realtor, somehow at a couple points, and those professionals, they got them all day long.
Even when I get a home to insure, I'm always asking, and I put a little note who the recommendation source was. And when I'm talking to that client, hey, when's the last time you talked to Chris about selling, buying new property, buying investment property? And you could circle back.
Yeah.
And that's how, if you're an insurance agent, you can help others going down that path. And I tell people all the time, like, how can I refer you? Ask people, when's the last time they had a second opinion on the auto insurance? I hate doing auto insurance, but everyone needs it, right? When they call me, they're in their mind, it's all about auto insurance. I don't care less about that. I want to get to their home, their business, and everything else. That's a conversation you get deep with, so you can learn more about that client.
Yeah, capture them and help them more, really, actually.
Right.
You could save them money on each policy. You could save them whatever it is, time. You need a value on your home to have it insured, right? You got to know what you're insuring, how much it is. Like, these are all types of things that the referral business grows, and you have a referral source altogether then, and everyone's looking to send you a deal.
Yep.
And vice versa.
It's important to keep putting yourself out there. And we had Ronnie. I don't know Ronnie Avech. I can't.
Ronnie's on my team. What's up, Ronnie?
There he is.
Wow.
And it's important to always, keep moving forward. Wake up. That drives people, that no paycheck too. So those are the entrepreneurs out there. Whatever. If you're in a business, drop a comment. What kind of business you're in? If we'd love to have a conversation. All of Chris's information is in the description. Guys that are using YouTube. Here's a couple of, value here. You got to use tags. Tags where YouTube is the difference between YouTube and Facebook. You do Facebook Lives, they go away. Zuckerberg controls it. On YouTube, it's all about the tag. So you can have more reach using YouTube. Using the description, making sure you have all your information. You can set it up. I can share with someone how every single video you upload, all your contact, all your descriptions already set up, and all you have to do is add certain things to it.
Oh, that's awesome.
With has all your links, everything you need at your fingertips are already in when you hit, uploading a video. So I definitely would love to help others with that. Chris, any final thoughts for those that are watching?
Well, number one, what you just said is very valuable stuff because YouTube is becoming the number one lead generation platform for realtors. So if you're listening, understand that you should be using that. And number two, thank everybody. If you're here listening, I appreciate it. If you're watching a replay, that's awesome. Message me anytime for questions about anything real estate, sobriety, mindset, whatever. I'm happy to chat with everybody and see, how we can all improve 1% every day and just get better. So thank you, Shawn. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you, Chris, for being with us, guys. And those that are popping in now, wait for this upload. Definitely hit that share button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And we wish you have an awesome rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You too, Shawn. Thanks, man.